There is a question a man asks when he's falling in love with you, and most women, especially women with experience, women who have been through it before, miss it completely because it doesn't sound romantic. It sounds ordinary, but I'm going to tell you what it is, and once you hear it, you'll never miss it again. I'm Matthew Hussey, and if you're watching this, chances are you're a woman who's been around the block. You've had relationships, you've had heartbreak, you've learned some lessons, and because of that, you've built up what I call relationship scar tissue. You're more guarded now, more cautious, and that's not a bad thing. That's wisdom, but here's the problem with wisdom. Sometimes it makes us cynical. Sometimes it makes us miss the very thing we're looking for because we're so busy protecting ourselves from what hurt us before. Today, I want to talk about 5 questions, 5 specific questions that when a man asks them, they reveal he's not just interested, not just attracted, not just having fun. They reveal he's falling in love. Real love, the kind that changes everything, and I'm not talking about the obvious stuff. I'm not talking about what are we, or do you want to be exclusive. Those are decision questions. These are different. These are vulnerability questions, investment questions, future imagination questions. So let's dive in, because if you can recognize these, you'll know exactly where you stand, and you'll stop wasting time wondering. Question 1. What made you smile today? The first question is this. What made you smile today? Now you might be thinking, Matthew, that's it. That's your big revelation. That's such a normal question. Exactly. That's why women miss it. Let me explain something to you. When a man is just physically attracted to you, he asks surface questions. What do you do for work? Where are you from? What's your favorite restaurant? These are interview questions. They're designed to keep the conversation going, to fill space, to create enough rapport that maybe something happens later. But when a man is starting to fall for you, he doesn't just want to know about you. He wants to know what's happening inside you. He wants access to your inner world, your emotional world. What made you smile today is not a question about facts. It's a question about feelings. It's a question that says, I want to know what brings you joy. I want to understand what lights you up when I'm not around. Think about that for a second. When someone asks you what made you smile today, they're asking you to take them into a moment they weren't part of. They're asking you to let them into your private happiness. That's intimacy. That's a man who's not just trying to get something from you. He's trying to get close to you. I had a client, Susan, 52 years old, dating again after divorce. She met a guy, Richard. They'd been on 4 dates, nothing crazy. Dinner, drinks, a walk in the park. She liked him, but she wasn't sure if he was serious. She'd been burned before by men who seemed interested and then disappeared. One night she gets a text from him. It's like 9:30 p.m. She thinks, here we go, booty call. But the text says, I've been thinking about you all day. What made you smile today? She told me, Matthew. I almost didn't respond. I thought it was a line, but something made me answer honestly. I told him about this moment at work where I helped a younger colleague figure out a problem, and she just lit up. And he responded with, That's beautiful. I love that you get joy from helping people figure things out. That says so much about you. Susan said that was the moment she realized this guy was different. Because he wasn't asking just to ask. He was asking because he genuinely wanted to know her, the real her. Here's what's happening psychologically. When a man asks what made you smile today, he's doing 2 things. First, he's training himself to think about your happiness. He's wiring his brain to associate you with joy. Second, he's telling you, I'm paying attention to your emotional life, not just your physical life. And here's the key, he's asking this when he's not with you. He's asking this in a text or a phone call. That means you're on his mind when you're not in front of him. That's a huge sign. Most men, when they're just casually dating, they think about you when they see you. When you're there, when there's a possibility of something happening. But when a man is falling in love, he thinks about you when you're gone. He wonders about your day. He imagines your life without him in it, and he wants to be part of it. So if a man asks you, what made you smile today? Or what was the best part of your day? Don't brush it off. Don't give a one-word answer. This is a door opening. Walk through it. Share something real. Share something vulnerable, because that question is his way of saying, I'm ready to go deeper with you. Question 2, what's something you're struggling with right now? The second question is, what's something you're struggling with right now? This one's even more powerful than the first, and it's even easier to miss, because here's the thing. A lot of women, especially older women, especially women who have been independent for a long time, they don't like to show struggle. They don't like to show weakness. They've learned to handle things on their own. They've learned that if they show a man they're struggling, he might run, or he might try to fix it in a way that makes them feel small. So when a man asks this question, the instinct is to say, oh, nothing, I'm fine, everything's good. But listen to me very carefully. If a man asks you what you're struggling with, he's not asking because he wants to fix you. He's asking because he wants to be there for you. He wants to know where you're vulnerable, and more than that, he wants you to trust him with that vulnerability. This is one of the deepest forms of intimacy. It's not physical, it's not romantic in the traditional sense, it's partnership. It's the foundation of real love. When a man is just dating you casually, he keeps things light. He keeps things fun. He doesn't want to deal with your problems because problems feel like responsibility. And responsibility feels like commitment, and commitment is exactly what he's trying to avoid. But when a man is falling for you, he wants the responsibility. He wants to feel needed. He wants to feel like he matters in your life in a way that goes beyond just being fun or attractive. I want you to imagine 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, you're seeing a guy, he asks how you are, you say, good, he says, cool, you move on, nothing happens, that's surface level. Scenario 2, you're seeing a guy, he asks how you are. You say, honestly, I've been a bit stressed. And instead of changing the subject or offering some generic advice, he says, tell me about it. What's going on? See the difference. The second guy is leaning in, the first guy is staying at a distance. Now here's where older women make the mistake. They think, I don't want to burden him with my problems. I don't want to seem like I'm needy or like I can't handle my life. But that's not what he's hearing when you share. What he's hearing is, she trusts me, she's letting me in, she's not putting up walls. That makes him feel closer to you. That makes him feel like you're building something real together. I remember talking to a guy, David, 48 years old. He was dating a woman named Linda. They'd been seeing each other for 2 months, and he said to me, Matthew, I don't know if she actually likes me. I ask her how she's doing, and she always says fine. I ask if she needs anything, and she says no. I feel like I'm on the outside of her life. I told him ask her a more direct question. Ask her what's hard for her right now. Not in a pushy way, just in a genuine way. So he did. They were having dinner, and he said, Linda, I feel like you never let me in on what's actually going on with you. What's something that's been difficult for you lately? She paused. And then she told him about her mom. Her mom's health was declining, and Linda was the primary caregiver, and she was exhausted, and she didn't know how much longer she could do it alone. David told me that conversation changed everything. I realized she wasn't cold or distant. She was just used to carrying everything herself, and when she finally let me in, I felt like I mattered, like I wasn't just some guy she was dating. I was someone she could rely on. That's what this question does. It shifts the relationship from casual to real. So when a man asks you what you're struggling with, don't deflect, don't minimize, don't say everything's fine if it's not. Share something true, share something that matters, because that's the moment he's asking for. That's the moment that brings you closer. Question 3. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? The third question is, what do you want your life to look like in 5 years? This is the future question, and this is where you can tell if a man is just playing around or if he's actually falling for you. When a man asks about your future, he's doing something very specific. He's imagining a future where you're still in his life. He's testing whether your vision and his vision can fit together. He's asking, can I see myself with this person long term? Now here's the thing. A lot of women hear this question and they panic. They think, oh God, is he asking me to define the relationship? Is he asking me if I want to get married? Is this too much too soon? No. He's not asking you to make a decision. He's asking you to share a vision. There's a huge difference. When a man is casually dating, he doesn't think 5 years ahead. He thinks 5 days ahead, maybe 5 weeks. He's living in the moment. He's enjoying what's happening right now without worrying about where it's going. But when a man is falling in love, his brain starts doing something different. It starts projecting. It starts imagining. What would life look like with her? Where would we live? What would we do together? Could I see her as the person I come home to every day? And so he asks you about your future because he's trying to figure out if his future and your future are compatible. I had a client, Margaret, 55, divorced, 2 grown kids. She was dating a man named Tom. They'd been together 3 months. One night after dinner, he asks her, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, really, what do you want your life to look like? She said to me, Matthew, I froze. I thought he was about to propose or something, but he wasn't. He just wanted to know, so she told him. She said, I want to travel more. I want to spend more time with my kids, but not be needed by them, you know. I want to feel free. I want to feel like I'm living for me for the first time in decades. And Tom said, I love that. I want that too. I want someone to explore with. I don't want to just settle into routine. I want adventure. Margaret said that was the moment she knew, because they were painting the same picture, and Tom wasn't just listening. He was imagining it with her. Here's the psychology. When a man starts thinking about the future with you in it, that's his brain preparing for attachment. That's his subconscious saying, this person matters, this person is worth planning around, and when he asks you about your future, he's not just gathering information, he's looking for alignment, he's looking for a reason to keep investing. He's looking for confirmation that you're someone he could actually build a life with. Now, older women sometimes get nervous about this question because they think, what if my vision doesn't match his? What if I want something different? That's okay. Better to know now than 2 years from now. If you want to travel the world and he wants to stay in one place, that's important information. If you want to be independent and he wants someone who's home every night, that's a mismatch. And it's better to discover that early, but if he's asking the question, it means he cares about the answer. It means he's taking you seriously. It means he's falling. So don't be vague. Don't say, I don't know. I'm just taking it day by day. That might sound relaxed, but it also sounds like you're not invested. Share a real vision. Share what you actually want, because that's what he's asking for. That's the conversation that builds a future together. Question 4. What's your relationship with your family like? The fourth question is, what's your relationship with your family like? This one's subtle, but it's critical. When a man asks about your family, he's not just making conversation. He's trying to understand where you come from. He's trying to understand what shaped you, what made you who you are, what your emotional foundation looks like, and more than that, he's trying to understand what family means to you. Because if he's falling for you, he's starting to think about what it would be like to be part of your family, or for you to be part of his. Now, I know some of you are thinking, Matthew, my family's complicated. My family's a mess. What if I don't have a good answer? That's fine. The question isn't about whether your family is perfect. It's about whether you're willing to share that part of yourself. It's about honesty. It's about depth. When a man is casually dating, he doesn't ask about family. Family is heavy. Family is complicated. Family brings up all kinds of emotional stuff that he doesn't want to deal with if this is just a fling. But when a man is falling for you, he wants to know that stuff. He wants to understand your wounds, your joys, your history, your patterns, because that's how he learns to love you better. I was coaching a woman named Diane. She was 59. She'd been dating a man named Paul for a few months. One day, they're driving somewhere, and out of nowhere he asks, "What's your relationship like with your brother? You've mentioned him a couple times, but I don't really know the story." Diane said, "Matthew, I was shocked. No man had ever asked me that. I told him the truth. I told him my brother and I were close growing up, but we drifted apart after my divorce. It's painful. I miss him." And Paul said, "Have you thought about reaching out? Maybe I could help. Maybe we could visit him together sometime." Diane told me that moment made her cry, not because it was sad, because it was the first time a man she was dating actually cared about her pain, actually wanted to help heal it, not fix it, not dismiss it, just be there for it. That's love. When a man asks about your family, he's saying, "I want to know the people who made you. I want to understand your roots. I want to understand what matters to you beyond just the surface." And here's the really important part. He's also revealing how he thinks about commitment, because family is the ultimate commitment. Family is the people you can't just walk away from. And if he's curious about your family, it means he's starting to think of you in those terms, as someone who's not just temporary, as someone who's part of something bigger. So when he asks, don't give a shallow answer. Don't just say, "Yeah, we're close," or "it's fine." Tell him the real story. Tell him about your mom who drives you crazy, but you love her anyway. Tell him about your sister who knows you better than anyone. Tell him about the pain, the distance, the complicated stuff, because that's the stuff that makes you real, and that's the stuff that makes him fall deeper. Question 5. How can I make your day better? The fifth question is, how can I make your day better? This is the most powerful one, and it's the one most women miss completely, because it doesn't sound like a big deal. It sounds almost too simple, too practical. But here's what's actually happening when a man asks this. He's saying, "Your happiness is my priority. Your comfort matters to me. I want to be a source of good in your life." That's not attraction. That's not lust. That's love. When a man is just casually dating you, he's focused on his own experience. Am I having fun? Is this enjoyable for me? Am I getting what I want? But when a man is falling in love, the focus shifts. It becomes about you. What do you need? What would make you happy? How can I add value to your life? This is the fundamental shift that happens when someone moves from attraction to attachment. The other person's well being becomes tied to your own. Their happiness makes you happy. Their pain makes you want to help. I had a client, Janet, 61 years old, dating again after being widowed. She met a man named Alan. They'd been together about 4 months. One day, she was having a terrible day. Everything went wrong. She texted Alan just to vent. She didn't expect anything. She just needed to get it out, and he replied, "That sounds awful. How can I make your day better? Should I come over? Should I bring food? Or do you want space? Just tell me what you need." Janet told me, Matthew, I sat there staring at that text for 5 minutes because no one had ever asked me that, not in that way, not with that kind of care. She told him, honestly, I just need to talk. And he said, I'll call you in 5 minutes, and he did, and they talked for an hour, and he didn't try to fix anything. He didn't try to solve her problems. He just listened. He just cared. That's when Janet knew. She said, this man loves me because he's not trying to get something from me. He's trying to give something to me. That's the difference. When a man asks how he can make your day better, he's operating from a place of service, from a place of generosity, and that only happens when someone's emotionally invested. Now here's the trap older women fall into. They hear this question and they say, oh, you don't have to do anything. I'm fine. Stop doing that. When a man offers to help, when a man asks what you need, let him help. Let him be there, because that's how he expresses love. That's how he feels connected to you. Men don't fall in love by being distant. They fall in love by being involved, by being useful, by feeling like they make a difference in your life. So when he asks how he can make your day better, give him a real answer. Say, you know what would be amazing. If you just came over and we watched something together, or I'd love it if you brought coffee tomorrow morning, or honestly, I just need to hear your voice for 10 minutes. Those small acts of service, those small moments of care, that's how love deepens. That's how a man goes from interested to invested, and the more you let him in, the more you let him contribute, the more he's going to feel like you're his person, like you're someone worth showing up for every single day. So those are the 5 questions. What made you smile today? What's something you're struggling with right now? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years? What's your relationship with your family like? How can I make your day better? These aren't the questions a man asks when he's just passing time. These aren't the questions a man asks when he's keeping his options open. These are the questions a man asks when he's falling in love, when he's ready to build something real. And if you're an older woman, if you've been through relationships before, if you've learned to be guarded, I need you to recognize these questions when they come, because they're easy to miss. They don't sound like grand romantic gestures. They sound like normal conversation, but they're not normal. They're intimate. They're vulnerable. They're a man saying, I'm ready to go deeper. I'm ready to know you. I'm ready to be there for you. And the worst thing you can do is shut that down because you're scared, or because you don't want to seem needy, or because you've been hurt before and you're not sure if you can trust it. I get it. I understand why you'd be cautious, but here's the truth. Love requires risk. Real love, the kind that lasts, the kind that fulfills you, it requires you to be open. It requires you to let someone in even when it's scary. So the next time a man asks you one of these questions, don't brush it off, don't deflect, don't minimize, lean in, share something real, let him see you, because that's how you build the kind of relationship you actually want. That's how you go from dating to partnership. That's how you find the love that makes all the past pain worth it. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, Matthew, I want more of this kind of insight. I want to learn how to recognize when a man is serious, when a man is falling, when a man is the real deal. I've got something for you. I've created a free guide. It's called The 5 Signs He's Emotionally Available. And in it, I break down exactly what to look for in a man's behavior, in his words, in his actions, that tells you he's not just attracted, he's ready for real love. You can get it at my website, link is in the description, but whether you download that or not, I want you to remember this. You deserve a man who asks these questions. You deserve a man who wants to know you, not just date you. You deserve a man who's falling in love with who you actually are. Don't settle for less. I'll see you in the next video.